on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flying Brown's Garage. So today we are loaded up and about to head out of here to go to Shaggy Small Engines and grab a new project. So let's get out there and see what we're getting. Alright, we didn't film any over there, but we are back at shop here. We have a, what is this? It is a Scots by John Deere, 25 horsepower, V-twin, 48 inch cut deck. It's the big boy with the 22 950/12s on the rear. I really do like this setup. But what we're going to do with this tractor is this engine, we're going to have to roll this off and check this engine, see if it's any good. Once we figure out the engine's good, this is going on Shaggy's build, the one that we're working on in another video. Actually, what I'll do is I'll probably put that video down below in the, or not down below, but in the ending, where you have 2 videos and a subscription thing, which you should be hitting, I would hope. But yeah, we got to pull this off for his build, but since once we pull it off, he said I could have the rest of this tractor. So we will be building this for my buddy Daniel, and it does have a deck. So we'll be sending him off with a deck. The idea for this build is we're going to be putting a single cylinder engine back in the place of the engine that's on it now. Probably like a Kohler or something that I got laying around. And we will be getting this thing hooked up for him to be able to throw a mower deck on it if he wants to and mow his yard. And then we will also be building an attachment for the rear for a tiller, so he'll be able to till his garden every year with the tractor instead of having to do it with a tiller and do it by hand. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this build, and I'm excited to get it to him and, you know, get this thing going like it should be. So let's get this thing in the shop here and see if this engine will bark off and see if it's gonna run like we want it to, and we can go ahead and pull it off of here. Alright, we have our tractor in here for a little better look at it with the hood off. This is a Scots by John Deere. Like I said, it's a 46-inch deck, or 42-inch deck, my bad. There is the deck for this tractor. I'm going to let that go with it for Daniel, and you know, get him hooked up with a good garden tractor. So I mean, it looks to be in decent shape. Big boy, tires need some air, but I really like this setup. It's a really decent tractor, and honestly, if I was just starting out and I didn't already have my beefy tractors, I'd probably keep this thing. The only thing I don't like is this hydrostat, but it'll do good for him, you know. That'll work perfect. Gas tank in there, that'll have to be taken out and cleaned. It's got all the compartments for, you know, storing stuff and all that stuff. I think that valve stem might be screwed up, so I might have to change that one out. It's got some tape on it. Looks like somebody tried to electrical tape it. That's not going to work, so have to do something about that and clean it up and all that good stuff. We're not going to be working on this right away. We're actually filming another video right now. I'm trying to get it finished up. Finishing up Shaggy's lowered build here. Tires hidden. Come on. Unhide yourself. There we go. We're working on that video there. Like I said, I will leave that at the end of the video for y'all to click on and watch. It's going to be a good one. This 27 horse V-twin is getting donated to that bad boy right there. Don't miss that one. Don't sleep on that one. You're not going to want to, let me tell you. But it'll be a couple seconds for y'all and a little while for me. So y'all stay tuned and let's see what the rest of this video beholds for us. Alright, we are back out here on the Scots. And I'm building for my buddy. I pretty much already got an engine for it and a couple other things. So I'm going to go ahead and yank it and the deck back up to the house, or to the shop. I just got to get this one off of the trailer. So let's go ahead and get this loaded up, get it back up there, and get to work on it. Alright, we got this thing off the trailer, and I was looking at it and it is extremely dirty. I went ahead and removed all the decals that it didn't need. I just left the front decal. This one was all busted up, so was the one around the hours. So I just left these and that one, because safety stuff. This will be a lawnmower and a garden tractor. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this, because that's just sitting there. Probably roll it back up on the trailer and get the pressure washer hooked up and clean it, because it is very nasty, as you see. I imagine it, I think it's pretty good. So let's get this thing pushed back up on the trailer, get it clean, get it back down here, and then look at it from there and see what we need to do to this thing to get it going. Alright, just pressure washed and scrubbed this down with some LA's Totally Awesome, the original yellow. Just sprayed it on concentrated, let it sit, scrub it, and got it off. It really cleaned up pretty good after I removed all the decals. That it didn't need, at least. Yeah, got all that cleaned up. Wish I had a better seat, but I don't. All this back here. Yeah, this turned out to be a pretty nice mower. Cast iron front end. Yes, it is a hydrostat, but yeah, that cleaned up pretty good. The only thing is, there's the Scots emblem. I left that in there. We also pressure washed up inside the hood, really good. All up inside here, really good. And all up under the seat, really good. So it's nice and clean. We do have an engine to put on it. I was going to put a Kohler on this, but I've decided to opt out and put this 14.5 on there. So we're going to go ahead and start mocking this engine up on this tractor, and yeah, and go from there. So alright, we now have our hole drilled out. Finally got that damn bolt out. I gotta take this front exhaust off, because I gotta patch it for one, and two, I gotta get this engine on here and bolt it down and then modify it to fit. But we'll probably either run this muffler or maybe another one that I got, I'm not sure. But for now, let's get this muffler off, get the engine bolted on, and get this plugged back on, and then we'll start kind of doctoring this engine up, getting it ready to go. Alright, we got quite a bit done on this so far. We've got a starter on and a power wire. We still are lacking a solenoid, but we will get one of those probably tomorrow when I go around and source some parts. we've got a coil on under here and hooked to our spark plug wire. I also cleaned off the flywheel and everything so there wasn't any rust, and it should get good spark. It is also gapped. Found some bolts to bolt the engine cover down to the engine. The engine is bolted on. I do have a muffler on it. All I did was take that one off and put a blocking plate over the second port, so it's just a one port, and it went right in. There is our bolt that was broken. I just ran a bolt and a nut through it to secure it, so that means our PTO is hooked up and our pulleys on our belt, and we have a belt catch. We'll have to hang those wires out of the way better. I need to tomorrow get the carburetor on, get a fuel line to hook up to it, some linkages, and then we will go ahead and hook up our cables, choke and throttle cable, and then really that'll be almost it for the engine. I will have to put a pulse pump on this one because of the fuel tank back here, but I've got another overhead valve over here that I'm going to go ahead and use to see. We got a gasket, we got a filter to put on, we've got a carburetor there, and then we've got an overhead valve for me to tap into the top with a port, hook up a vacuum port in that overhead valve so we can hook up vacuum for a vacuum fuel pump. I also have to go through and hook up the wires. I need to, I guess I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'll put a fuse in it, and then all it will need after that is a battery and the attachment built on the rear. So I'd say pretty good progress. Alright, it's another day on the Scott's lawn tractor build from a buddy of mine. I just actually fired up this one, so that'll be on part 1 if y'all want to check that out. What I went ahead and did is I went ahead and hooked up the throttle. I haven't hooked up the choke yet because the carburetor's not on. I have to make a little bit of a modification of this intake. Of course, we got our starter on, we got a fuse in, we've got a 3-wire solenoid on here, which I'm hoping is going to work because it calls for a 4, so we grounded our wires to the solenoid instead. We've got our positive and negative. I'm going to pull a battery from one of my tractors, come over here and put it in, see if it at least turns over. Of course, it's not going to start because we don't have a carburetor, and of course I don't have a kill switch wire hooked up yet, so I just want to see if it turns over with starter and all that good stuff. I probably will go ahead and start working on valve cover for a pulse pump. So clean this up and bore it out, put an inlet on it, replace it with that one. So let's stick a battery on this thing real quick and see if it turns over with the ignition. Alright guys, it's dark now. I had to go in and eat dinner, but got our battery hooked up, and we're going to go ahead and see if our key will kick over our starter. And it doesn't. Great. I don't know if it's that solenoid or what. So, I don't think the 3-wire is going to work. I'm trying to make it work, and I'm probably still going to play with it a little bit here and there. But right now it's just not getting a connection. I can hear it clicking in here, but I'm not sure it's going past. But I did bounce over, and we are about to swap out our valve cover for our fresh valve cover here with our pulse pump hookup. Just going to put it on top and replace it, and then maybe go ahead and make our modification, put the carburetor to go on real quick, because I'd like to get that on tonight, and then probably bounce back and try to play with that solenoid some more and see if we maybe get it to kick over with the key. So let's go ahead and pop that valve cover off, get our new one on and in place of that one, and then we can move on to our intake and carburetor setup. Ooh. That don't look so good. Dang. I actually have water in that. I knew the dipstick looked a little bit milky, but make sure valves are working. Valves are indeed working. Are they spinning? Yes, they are rotating. Okay. And we can go ahead and get us a new valve cover gasket, because I'm not going to try to reuse the old one. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depends. But in this case, I'm not. I'm going to put a new one on it. We got our new gasket put on, and I'm going to go ahead and start putting on our valve cover. I went ahead and cleaned the heads of our screws too. Really all of the screws, threads, heads, all that stuff. I might need that just to get everything nice looking, since I've already redone it, you know. You don't want to put crap parts on freshly redone stuff. You want it to look good. Alright. So what I need to do is, the inserts have been pushed out of these to be able to accommodate the threadings, as you see. So what I need to do is kind of trim it down halfway, take that off, take it off here on both sides. That way I can fit a nut on the back side both sides for the carburetor, and it can still accommodate everything else. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and pull that off so I can get in there with my multi-tool, cut that out, reinstall it with the carburetor on it. Like I said, cut half of that out on both sides so I can fit a nut behind it but still have enough to tighten down on. So, because this is the only intake I have other than an aluminum one in the shop that actually has one of the ears broken off of, because them aluminum ones are very notorious for that. If you do not torque them down to the right torque spec and you tighten them down too tight, they usually will break an ear. So, unfortunately, it's the only one I have to work with, and this one hasn't been tampered with, so we're going to have to make things work. But I know it will work, it's just not factory OEM design. But, you know, I think the whole point of this channel is anything but factory and OEM design. Alright, so we did get our carburetor in place. We don't have any linkages for it yet. I'm only going to need one though, because I'll need one to go from here to the governor. Because I'm actually just going to use a cable for the choke. So, that's all together. I started working back over here on the solenoid. And I figured out that there was a relay here, and when I went to go pop the relay off to look at it, it was just crusted and rusted. So I actually jumped all those wires over to each other instead of having the relay. Now I can hear a clicking better in the solenoid, but I still think that 3 wires is not what I need, and I need a 4. So I'm going to be going to Shaggy Small Engines tomorrow and seeing if I can get some parts for this and that build back there. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Go inside, probably finish editing a video, and yeah, got a job to go do tomorrow, and then I'll be back on this again. Probably, I don't know which one I'm going to work on yet, but I'll either see you guys tomorrow or the next day. Alright guys, day 3 on the Scott's build. Left my battery on there last night. We got quite a bit done with the carburetor and the intake and the valve cover. We got some wiring done last night. I had to bypass a what do you call these damn things? Relay. I had to think for a minute. Had to bypass a relay because it was just so corroded. Like it, I ain't seen one that bad in a long time. So we took it out, we jumped our wires together, so everything will be connected. We're still trying to get the key to work. I still think it's the solenoid, because this wiring hasn't really been messed with too much. I can tell it was pretty much stock when I got it. So Only thing is, someone robbed the solenoid from it, and it's supposed to be a 4-wire. You got 2 posts and you got 2 flat blades back here that are supposed to connect to, you know, stuff. And there's one of the flat blades. So, all the butt connectors you see in there are me. It did look like at some point somebody did add a couple of connections to a couple of wires in here and there, but really, in all reality, it's kind of unmolested until I got it. We're trying to get this thing to operate with key today. So I'm going to go in here and keep playing with the solenoid. I was not able to make a trip to Shaggy's Small Engines this morning, so I still don't have parts. I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to still keep playing with this 3-wire and see if I can get it to work. I've got another one in the back maybe I could use. So if this one don't work, I might go snatch that other one and see if it does the trick. Other than that, I'd like to get this thing kicked over with the key today, at least see what it'll do. As long as that starter will spin that engine over, I'm good. Alright guys, we got another solenoid on here. I harvested one from another build. It works. So everything was working, but the starter bound up on the flywheel. And that was because the teeth weren't, the gear's not straight. I gotta straighten this top piece to get the gear to pop up and be even. So I've actually got to go do a job real quick. I'm gonna go run do this, knock it out. I gotta go replace a dryer vent in someone's home, and then come back here, get that starter right, get it put on. Hopefully we have an engine that spins over with the key. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Alright, back here at the shop. Got the starter back on. I got that gear on the top leveled out, so it should operate like it needs to now. So let's go ahead and put y'all on the stand and see if it'll kick over with the key and turn the engine over. There's something wrong with this engine. There's gotta be something internally wrong with this engine. Because it is not spinning over. Well, we have a slight issue. We did get the solenoid to kick over. It is kicking the starter, so that wiring is right. I could have swore I checked the oil in this thing. I did not know it was that rusted. So this might end up being a episode of can we even get this engine to run? Let's pull and drain our oil. Let's see what we're working with there. What's it gonna look like? Water. Already water. Water. I'm gonna go get a jack it up a little bit on that side of the tilter. side to come out. You've got to be kidding me. I hope this engine isn't toast. Alright, good news. With our new solenoid, new starter, I had to change out the teeth. And of course we had our problem with the inside of the engine. But what I did was I took the top cover off. I took this mesh off here, off the fan. Got to where I could turn it over with a socket and a wrench, or a ratchet. I took and put a bunch of ATF down in the engine. Rotated over a bunch so it would kind of clean all that stuff out. Drained the ATF out, got it out really good. Put some oil in it. I don't have quite enough oil, but we're not going to fire it up right now. Got to the add mark, so we're good. Notice how much cleaner that dipstick is. Yeah. Got a tube and a dipstick cleaned out. Bunch of stuff flushed out of the engine, and now we have that. So there are two different styles of teeth for these starters. One's more narrow, one's more fat. I will show you the difference. I've never really noticed until now, but they are indeed different. Marshall, it's okay. It's okay, bud. I'm just trying to show the people about the engine. You're good. It ain't gonna eat you, I promise. You're a good boy. But, see, here's our fat teeth. See the difference here. See how they're not at a sharp pitch at the end of the tooth, while we have this one that is a sharp pitch. You see how they don't quite line up? Yeah, it's just a slight bit different. So that's the reason that we had that issue with the starter. I think there's actually more teeth on that gear than this one. I didn't count it, but the looks of it tells me there's probably a couple more teeth. But it turns over good. So we're now working back with a good engine, and we got the wiring situated. Except for a couple of things I got to tap into. I got to ground a few things out. And then we should be good to go. So we've got progress on the tractor. I got a lot of things grounded, and I got a kill switch on it. There's a kill switch. That's on, that's off. We went ahead, tightened up our carburetor, hooked up the throttle linkage. I've got a fuel line hooked up and a pulse pump that I found. I've still got to get a line running to the vacuum itself, but so far we are surely coming along on this project. It turns over, the kill switch works, so we've almost got us a runner. And once we have us a runner, then all I got to do is do the back end, and it's pretty much ready to go. So I want to take a quick second and pause the video and ask y'all to help me with something. I need y'all to do me a favor. Go down and hit that subscribe button. Smash it. Smash that bell. Go like the videos. You know, tell me where you're from. Say hi. Whatever. Ask me questions. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. And I cannot do that without your guys' help. So definitely go subscribe. Check out Facebook, the Instagram, the Snapchat, and now we have a TikTok. You can just go type in Flying Brian's Garage and you will find me. All the profile pictures are the same. It's easy to find. And yeah, give me some likes, give me some subscribes, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to build this, and I can't build it without everybody's help. So hope you guys are enjoying the videos. You know, got a lot of good videos coming, constantly coming, and I'm constantly sourcing new projects. So stay tuned, and with that being said, let's get back to the video. Alright guys, it's like a day later. We're back on the Scott's build. Yesterday we got everything situated for the wiring, starter, it kicks over with the key. We have carburetor on it and it's plumbed up with fuel line except for the vacuum pump. We need to find some line for the vacuum pump, and then we need to find well, no, we don't need to find, we need to fix this. If you see both knuckles there we go, both knuckles are just kind of there, so we're going to need to remove those, fix them, and then reinstall them so it won't pop off when he's steering. We got us a vacuum hose hooked up. Found something in the shop. So vacuum's hooked up, fuel's hooked up, and it has a shut off. So all we got to do is put some fresh fuel in the tank when we get some, and I need to add a little more oil to the engine, and it should run off its own fuel. So with that being said, the engine's done, wiring's done. It just needs a battery, and I'm going to let him get one of those. We will run it with one of my batteries when we get it all, you know, set up and everything, just to kind of check it out, make sure it runs good and rides good. Then we'll let him take over and do what he wants to do, if he wants to replace anything that I put on used or any of that. But I'm sure he'll probably just run it, you know. If it's good, don't fix it. So we've got our steering disassembled, and we're going to pop our ball joints off here and repair our steering linkages. I need to get my lights, I need to get some batteries that are charging in the house for the lights, because they are running out. I do have them on and you can barely tell. But yeah, the balls wore out in there, so I usually take me a flat head or a flat washer and split it and round it off and stick it through the ball, tighten it down, and weld it to the steering rod here. So that's what we're going to do on both sides. Let's get to that, get the welder out. Let me go get some batteries for the lights on the camera. We will weld that up, get that put back together, and then this thing should be ready to start building the rear attachment for the tiller. So let's get this done so we can get on to the rear. Alright, so we got some fresh lights. We got our washers cut. What I do is I just cut a washer, put it over it, crimp it a little bit so it's a little bit of a tighter seal, and then I'll weld the washer itself to your steering arm. And we'll do that on both sides, and that will keep it'll give it a little more life. So let's break out the welder, get that done, and we can drop this thing back down and start kind of mocking up a idea for a rear tiller attachment. So let's knock this out real quick, guys. Alright, we got her down. Got the hood back on it. Got it kind of sitting up in the air a little bit so I can get to it a little better. Steering is great. So that's perfect. It is fixed and good to go. So we won't have to worry about sending them off with a tractor that the steering's all messed up on. So that's addressed, the engine's addressed, the wiring's been addressed, it has a kill switch, ignition switch, everything works. Except for getting it running, but we have our fuel system plumbed and everything. We just got to get some gas and get a hot battery in it and hear it run. I don't have a seat for it, unfortunately, or I would hook him up with a seat. I might try to doctor this one a little better. You know, best I can at least, because it's pretty jacked. Maybe I could put some self-tappers in there and self-tap it down and at least make it somewhat decent. You know, maybe get some black electrical tape or black duct tape. Tape it up. Alright, put a couple screws in the seat. So it is a lot better than what it was, and it's kicked back for him because he's a long-legged person. So it's got a seat. It's not the best seat, but hey, you know, it's a seat. Trying to get some of this shavings off of here. But yeah, it'll do for now. Like I said, he might get him a new seat, but if not, it's okay. This one will work for him for a while. So yeah, now that we got that done, it's just a cushion. I put a couple self-tappers in there to keep it secure. We're going to go ahead and start mocking up and looking about building a tiller attachment for the rear. So let's get to thinking about some ideas and looking at getting it put together. Alright, we've got one of our arms built for our tiller attachment. It's going to mount up right there, and it's going to pivot. It's going to be connected to each other, and it's going to have a handle on it so he can more than likely lift it and lower it from the driver's seat. But we've got our first one done. We're not going to mount them up until we get the second one done and built, so we're going to build it. Probably try to fit some kind of cross member in between to strengthen it, and yeah, then we'll start building the head for it. But first we got to get this other one welded up, same length as that. Then we'll get those mounted. Then we'll start building onto it more with structuralization and so on and so forth. I'm going to put it on a bolt with a one of these heads where it's got that little gap for it to ride in, and yeah, that's going to be his setup. So let's get this other arm built, and we will start getting the back wheels off and start drilling holes for our new bolts and our new arms to go on for the tiller attachment. Alright guys, so we've got both of our arms made. They are completely symmetrical, and I've got my hands on the ends, thinking about mounting it like right in there, so it'll be a up and down type thing. So alright, we did quite a bit of work since we cut the camera on last. I'll turn you around and let's take a look. We took the wheels off, drilled holes for our stuff to pivot, and as you see, it goes up and down nice and tight like it should. We went ahead and welded a rod across here and a rod across here. I still got to finish welding around this one. This one's already welded in. That way it kind of adds some stability. I want to add some kind of plate so he can add maybe a cinder block or two to add weight to it, and then we'll start building the probably the handle. Alright, we got a little more progress on the tiller attachment. Everything is welded in. We will build our the actual tiller head off of this. It's just going to be one of those like old one row type of things, because I don't have discs to build like a really big tiller. It's just going to be a one row a piece, but hey, it's going to be something. You can always buy tiller attachments if he wanted to have a different one than this, but I think this will work just great. We're going to take this handle grip off here, and I'm going to actually come over and then up and then put it up here. That way he'll have easier access to it. We're going to build a lock so it'll lock in place up top, and yeah, I think I'm going to work on next is extending the handle up to where it needs to be. Alright guys, I have not got to the handle yet because I'm trying to find some tubing that's the same diameter to extend it, but we have gotten to our tray. I welded these brackets on here to hold it in place, and then we have this little post here to hold it there, and then we got our side flaps, which used to be like the front of a frame, which I think was Shaggy's frame, old frame, but no, these were seat brackets. These were seat brackets, but we got these on. All you got to do is throw a strap over it, and then that part is good for the weight, and all we got to do is figure out a handle situation. So I'll try to find some tubing. I think I'm going to call it a night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow because it's like 1:30 in the morning. So, see you guys then. Alright guys, a couple days later, and we're back on the Scotts. Couldn't do any work yesterday. Big old lightning storm came through, and I didn't want to be out here welding while it was lightning. Especially seeing it has struck at the bottom of my driveway before. It tends to strike places that it struck before, and that's just too close for me. I actually spent yesterday fixing up my old mountain bikes, and if y'all are OGs to this channel, when this channel was just flying brine, y'all would probably remember those bikes. They just been sitting around rotting and all, so I figured, you know, might as well go ahead and fix them up. Wife talked about wanting to ride, and, you know, why not? So I went ahead and spent yesterday inside fixing my bikes up, and they're actually looking really good, and yeah, pretty happy with that. So but today we're back out here on this, and this is as far as we got in the last clip. We got the cradle for the block built, handle on, and everything stabilized and attached to the mower. Today we're going to extend our handle up towards the driver. We're going to go across, and then we're going to go from here up and put a grip on it so he can just push it forward and pull it back. Alright guys, we got our handle built. Got a little brace in here, and then there's of course the handle. I'm going to do a little more stabilizing on this. I'm probably going to run a bar across here to give it a little more stabilization, because right now it's a little wobbly and I want to get that wobble out of it. But as you see, I gotta tape up the thing there just to get a little more grip for the grip to go on, but it works. So I'm gonna get the rest of that paint off so it all matches, and yeah, try to make it look a little better. But it's coming along for sure. I'm gonna run down to the scrap yard back here in the back and get some more metal for this thing and reinforce it a little better. Maybe one going across here, one going across here, maybe one across the bottom and the back. Make that a little more stable. Maybe even something going from here to here, just to give it a little more stabilization so it don't bend when he goes to lift it up. But so far so good. Alright guys, I'm actually about to call it for the evening. It's kind of getting dark, and I don't know what it is with today's weather, but it rained yesterday, and it is freaking cold out here today. And it was really nice and hot and getting to become summer, but you know, I said screw off, and you can freeze again. So I'm actually going to go in the house. Welding in cold isn't so great, especially when your metal gets to a certain temperature. It don't like to bond. We got quite a bit done. We got our grip installed here. We've got all our paint off of this rod. We've got this plate in here welded, and also welded along with this support, which I probably will come back in here next time I come in here and weld it here and on the back side. We've got an old lawnmower blade running across to support this arm and this from bending up, and we put and welded this on here so it wouldn't twist. Then I've got a support going across here. We've got one going across here, and then we've got one going across here, of course, with our stuff. Well, I also added another arm to hold in the brick. So it's got this one and this one, and these hold in the sides. I kind of filled in some of the holes with some weld. I also have an arm here going down to here to support this from folding when I move it forward. See, it has a little bit of flex, but not much. And then it comes forward. That's it lifting. And then I'm going to build, probably put a chain, like probably bolted to the frame here, up through here, and on this bracket that I welded to the frame on both sides, and then it will hook to the back side of that blade, and it'll hold this up when he's not in use. Otherwise, the handle is right here. I think it's pretty decently accessed. Let's see, I'm sitting on it. Here's the handle, and even with a brick on it, and a bad rotator cuff in my shoulder, I'm able to pick it up and drop it. So that way when he's turning around to go for the next row, the next pass, he can lift it, turn the mower around, drop it back down, and keep tilling, keep plowing, whatever. But yeah, I like the build. It's simple, it's easy. You know, it's just out of a bunch of scrap, but it's really coming along. So it's sturdy. It comes up nice. I'll probably build something like this again later on down the road for one of my mowers for the driveway, and instead of doing a tiller attachment, I will probably build a blade. But if we decide to do a garden, maybe I'll need to build another one of these and just have tiller attachment, and then be able to remove it and have a blade attachment. So, which would be cool. I could do my driveway, and I could do my garden or whatever. So this is an idea. I know it looks elaborate and kinda but you know, it's built out of scrap. Just a bunch of stuff I had laying around, and so far I think it's turning out pretty good. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of how this project's coming out so far, just for a garden tractor. We are not changing out the wheels or the tires. We are not changing out a lot of things. We're not putting a gas pedal on it. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're just doing a basic build of a garden tractor here. Something that can still mow. Something that can do garden work. So let me know what y'all think down in the comments, and I'm gonna go in here, do some editing, because I've got quite a bit of that to do. And yeah, y'all go check out the video behind this. That was the one that part 1 of Shaggy's lowered cart, and we're not even done with it yet. Or I'm not done with it yet. I've still got a few things to do on it here and there, but I mean, I'll get to it in a couple of days. I'm trying to get Daniel's finished and get this video out, so y'all go check out the video behind this, which is part 1 of Shaggy's low 27 horsepower V-twin MTD race build. And then you can go check out, well, stay tuned for part 2, because part 2 on that's going to be dropping here. I do believe, I'm hoping not too long after the Scott's is done. So, you know, I kind of want to get this out of here, get it done, get it to Daniel, the way they can do their thing, because summer's coming and I'm sure he wants to grow some stuff this year. So yeah, but I'm gonna go in here and do some editing, and I will see you guys out here on this project again tomorrow. Alright, what's going on, guys? It is another day. Back out here on the Scott's build again, and I think I'm gonna try to get this thing running off its own fuel today. We've got everything plumbed. Put y'all some light on. We've got the fuel and everything plumbed up, and we've got a vacuum hooked up. All I need to do is get some gas in it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go get a chain from down there at the junkyard. I've got one on the old lawn cart that we used to run around the yard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a chain and bolt it into the frame here somehow, somewhere. Maybe bolt it in over here somewhere and have it wrapped around to where it comes, and I'll have a hook on it to where I can hook down here when I have it up. That way I can have it propped up, and then we can move this thing back, and then I can try to pour some gas in it, put a hot battery on it, and see what it does. So I think I'm going to put the floor mats back on it too, to cover up these spots. I did keep them. Thought I was going to leave them off, but I think I'm going to put them back on and get this thing looking a little better. Get it running off its own fuel. Then we'll only need a couple of things, and she will be ready to send down to my buddy's house, and he can use it for his garden. So let's get into it for today. Alright, so we're airing up the tires now. Looks like so far that this one's holding. I think that one's taking air. I do believe that one will take air, and I'm not sure about the other one because it's a valve stem. I don't know if I have a valve stem. But we did get our chain hooked up. I bolted it here, bolted it there, installed a hook, and we hooked up into place and dropped down to use. Actually looks pretty cool on the back of there, honestly. I kind of like it. It don't look bad. bad at all. So we're going to see if these tires will take air. Then we're going to, I've already got some gas in it. We drained the gas out of my buddy's John Deere in the back. The old green one that we used to use as a mutter. Now it is overfilled with oil, which is actually a good thing. So I'm going to go back there and drain the oil out of it into a container, pour what it needs in it, and then use the rest to fill up this engine. It's new oil, so we're going to do that. That way we can get the oil that we need in here, and then we'll have oil, gas, aired up tires, our chain in the rear. We should be able to run this, and if it runs off its own fuel, we'll actually be able to ride it around the yard. So yeah, I can't wait. We're going to see what this thing will do. So I'm going to finish airing up the tires. We're going to go down here and get some oil, get it put in the engine, and we'll be ready to fire it up. Alright, so here we go. We're chained up. We've got our tires. They seem to, well, okay, that one doesn't hold air. The rest of them seem to hold air. We've got sufficient oil levels. We've got our fuel tank completely plumbed. We've got a hot battery hooked up to it. And we should be ready to try to see if this thing will go. I'd like to ride it, see what it'll do. We've got our engagement pushed in on our trans, and everything looks like it's a go. So what we need to do is put y'all up on the stand and let's see if this thing will fire up. Oh, I don't have a linkage. I don't have a linkage for the car. Probably not going to do too well. Let me see. I might need a plug for the bottom of that tank, or that bowl. What an idiot. Well, we know it pumps fuel. I don't know why I thought this carburetor didn't have one, but I legit just thought it didn't have one. Where was I wrong? All right. Take two. Okay. So it is a runner, and it will run off its own fuel. I just got to get a linkage for the carburetor. I just need a linkage, and we're good. So I'm gonna go try to find one. I don't know where I have one. I could make one out of coat hanger if I needed to. Make one. But it runs. It runs good. That's the perfect part. So let me go see if I can find the linkage, and then I'm gonna come back and hook this thing up, and then we're gonna see what it'll do. Alright, we now have a linkage on it. Now we'll see what it'll do. Carburetor's flooding out. she's not the happiest. Don't look like it's leaking anymore. I think it's still flooding it, but not as bad. We need to get our linkages situated. Try to it's coming along. It's just not right yet. I think I'm also going to kind of lift it up some and see what's going on with the rear end. Not sure what it is. It's not missing keys because I put the keys back in it, so it's got to be something with that axle or the belt. Maybe the pulley's not spinning, or maybe the belt's slipping, or something. But something's going on. We need to figure that out. And we definitely need to figure out the carburetor issue. Other than that, it's a pretty good runner. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alright guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here. I hate to do it. I really wanted to put it in all one video, but it's taken a while. I've got jobs to do. I've got all kinds of stuff going on, and it's just, you know, everything gets backed up, and if I don't put a video out every 3 to 5 days, I fall out of the YouTube's algorithm, and everything just don't grow from there. So, you know, I got to make sure I stay consistent, because they always say consistency is key. So, and it is. You know, I can't help but agree. Stay consistent, keep to your word, and do what you say you're going to do, and, you know, everything will fall into place. But if you don't, you fall back on it, and it don't work out well for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video here. We're gonna make a part 2 out of this. I still got the running issues to work on. Still got the transacts to work on. Still got the rear end to finish. And yeah, I mean, there's still things to be done on this tractor. So what we'll do is we'll just cut it here, do a part 2. Part 2 will be fixing all these issues, finishing the rear end, riding this thing, and getting it to my friend. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, if you did, go down there and leave a like. It don't take but a couple seconds to click a button, and it really helps out me being seen in the YouTube algorithms and all that good stuff, you know. It just helps. So also, if you want to say something down below, comment, feel free to. You're more than welcome. I try to get to everybody as much as I can. So yeah, feel free to say something down below. You can check out the Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and the TikTok. The only one that's different is the Snapchat. It is an avatar. The rest of them are the same profile picture as the YouTube channel, so you should be able to find me easily. You just go to those platforms, type in Flying Brian's Garage in the search engine, and boom, there I am. Follow, like, all that good stuff. So different content is posted to those platforms, kind of like a sneak peek or update or what's going on around the shop other than what's in the videos. So y'all be sure to go follow those as well, because like I said, kind of show you what's going on. So also go check out some of the older videos. They are good, so check them out. They need some views, they need some likes, and all that good stuff. Also, go check out and well, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like I said. It don't take but a button, and click the all notifications bell. That way you'll be notified every time I drop a new video, which, like I said, is every 3 to 5 days. Sometimes it's a little after that, but I try to keep it consistent, like I said. We got a lot of new stuff coming, so y'all be sure to stay tuned and, you know, watch out for that new stuff to drop. And until then, I will see you guys on the next episode.